Hello everyone and welcome to my talk on writing an Ostinato protocol builder. My name is Shrivats. For those not familiar with Ostinato, Ostinato is a packet crafter and traffic generator, a software-only solution, open source and cross-platform. So I started working on this back in 2007. The first public launch was back in April 2010. Made several point releases. The big 1.0 release was in September of 2019. I'm the lead developer and maintainer on this project. I work on it on my side, apart from my day job, and the project itself is sustained via a paid binaries program. In terms of features, Ostinato has multiple streams. A stream is nothing but a sequence of packets. On a per stream basis, you can configure rates, bursts, number of packets, get RX and TX stats. You have real-time port statistics. You have device emulation with ARP and ping support, which essentially means you can emulate a LAN full or multiple LAN fulls of devices. There are several common protocols already supported, but all protocols are currently supported in a stateless only manner. There's no stateful support in Ostinato. So as a packet crafter, you can set or edit any field of any protocol or even change the values of packet fields as you send packets. Other than creating packets from scratch, you can also import a PCAP file, edit and replay it. To know more about Ostinato, I recently did a SharkFest talk. You can watch the video and there are several demos in that video that you can learn about Ostinato. In terms of currently supported protocols, this is that set, and the new protocols can be added using Ostinato's protocol builder framework, which is what is the subject of this talk. A few basics first. Ostinato is written in C++ and uses Google protocol buffers as the serialization mechanism. Depends on the Qt toolkit, protobuf itself, as I said, libpcap, and on Linux, the libnetlink libraries. So what is a protocol builder? So like Wireshark captures packets and dissects them, and therefore the code supporting a particular protocol in Wireshark is called a protocol dissector. Ostinato builds packets and puts them on the wire. So the code supporting a particular protocol in Ostinato is called a protocol builder. So what are the various parts of a protocol builder? The core part is a set of .proto files, and then these .pb.h and .pb.cc are generated files from the .proto, a .h and a .cpp. The GUI for the protocol, there is a .ui, which defines the widget itself, and then there's a .h and .cpp. And similarly for PCAP import support, again there's a .h and .cpp. So all these sample files that you see are actually from the Ostinato code base. These are actually templates for new protocol builders, and this template includes both boilerplate code and has to do instructions for how to write the protocol specific code. So in this talk we will see how to implement Ostinato protocol builder for GRE. So this is the frame format for GRE from RFC 2890. So as you can see, the first 4 bytes are mandatory, and then we have a bunch of optional fields. Now, how do we start writing the protocol builder? We take the sample files and rename them to GRE, and then we open all of them and replace sample with GRE. With that text replace done, we end up with this new set of files. We'll also need to modify a couple of files, and I'll show them. They're just one-line modifications there. But I'll show them the diff also on what needs to be modified in those files. So let's look at GRE core, the 3 core files. We start with the .proto, which is the protobuf message for GRE. So here we just defined various fields for each of the packet fields in the GRE header. And at the end, we define something like a union. If you know protobuf, you know what extend does, but otherwise if you don't, just assume it's a union and we assign it a number. So where does this 405 come from? It comes from this file called protocol.proto, which is an existing file. We just pick a free number from that and assign it there as well as here. So when you run the gre.proto through the proto-C, which is the protobuf compiler, it generates a class like this, which has several accessor methods for each field that we have defined. The most important being the flags and set flags get and set. From a class diagram perspective, it's pretty simple. We have an abstract protocol class, we inherit from that, and we define the protobuf generated class as a private member of our own class. So gre.h, this is from the template file. We just add a couple of hash defines for the various flag definitions. We add an enum for each of the frame fields. And the private member, as I said, this is the protobuf generated class. Rest of it is all boilerplate. On the .cpp, all of these are boilerplate functions, so I'm going to skip. So these are functions that you have to write. They're pretty simple. You have the full name, the acronym, then you have the protocol ID type. So GRE has a protocol type field which takes ether type values. So we return protocol ID eth. And our own protocol ID, because we are a payload of IP protocol, our protocol ID IP value is 47, and that's what we return. The next set of functions, again pretty simple. We have a field count which returns the number of fields in our header. Then we have a function called field flags. So the typical field flags are frame, checksum, and meta. So every field which is present in the header gets the field frame flag. If that field also is a checksum field, you also or the checksum flag to it. If it is a field which is not present in the header, but it affects the behavior in some way, you don't set the frame field or the frame flag or the checksum flag, but just the meta flag. The next function is our frame field count. So the difference between field count and frame field count is the meta fields. Now the frame field count only needs to be implemented if your protocol has varying number of fields. If you have a fixed set of fields, then the framework will figure out using field flags how many are actually frame fields. But in our case, because we have a set of optional fields, we do this little code to figure out which flags are set, and based on that we return the number of frame fields. The field data is now, this is the most important part of the protocol builder. So given a field index and a field attribute, we return the value corresponding to it. So the various field attributes here are the field name, the field value, which is nothing but the integer value. The field frame value is how the field looks as encoded in a packet in network byte order. So it returns a byte array. A field text value is similar to field value, it's just that it returns it as a string, and you can have annotations and format it in a human readable way. And finally, you have field bit size, which is how wide is your field in terms of bits. To give you an example how these attributes are used, this is a screenshot from Ostinato, and you can see that the field name and field text value are used to display a Wireshark like tree view, and the field bit size and field frame value are used to display the hex dump view. Like we had field data, which was the get, we have set field data. So given a field index and its value, we go and set that value in our private member of the protobuf class. The final function is protocol frame size. Again, you need to implement this only if you do not have a fixed header size. So in this case, because we have optional fields, again we check the various flags whichever are currently set, and based on that we return the size of our header. Finally, how to register this with the rest of the framework? You go and modify this file called protocolmanager.cpp, include the .h, and call the register protocol function. So next set of files is for the GRE GUI. We start with creating the widget or the GUI widget using the Qt designer and save it as a .ui file, which is nothing but an XML file. An example is shown on your right. When that .ui file is run through the UI compiler, which is part of the Qt toolchain, you get a UI gre.h, which is a C++ class definition representing this particular widget. From a class diagram perspective, our GRE GUI class is going to inherit from the abstract class and the widget class. So the GRE config.h is all boilerplate, so I'm going to skip that. The .cpp starts with a set of, again, boilerplate functions. Again, I'm going to skip that. Then we have the load widget. So essentially, we load the contents of the widget from the passed in protocol as a argument. So we use the proto field data, which we just implemented in the core. We use that to get the value and set it in each of the widgets. The counterpart to load is store widget. Here we take values from the widget and store it in our protocol using the set field data method that we just defined. And finally, a similar registration for the protocol widget. The final set of files is for the GRE PCAP import. A brief note about how PCAP import is done in Ostinato. So we use Tshark to convert a PCAP file to a PDML file. A PDML is short for packet data markup language, which is nothing but an XML. So PDML content is essentially the Wireshark protocol dissected data. And if you look at the snippet of a PDML file, we just use the name, size, and value from these XML file to import into the Ostinato fields. So the GRE PDML.h, this is all boilerplate. You don't need to change anything here, so I'm going to skip that. So on the .cpp, the first is our constructor, and all we do in our constructor is we initialize a field map, which is a map between the field name as Wireshark sees it and the field number as Ostinato sees it. So as long as we have 1:1 relationship between the field names in Wireshark and the field numbers in Ostinato, you can just insert all of this in the constructor and the framework will do the rest. But if you notice, the GRE flags and version field is not 1:1 with Ostinato fields. So we need to do something special there. And to do that, we use the method called unknown field handler. In here, we check that if the name is GRE flags and version, we retrieve the 2-byte value from that and then do the correct bit operations and set the Ostinato's fields accordingly. So the next set of functions in GRE PDML are all for special handling, and for GRE we did not need to do any special handling, so I'm going to skip that. And finally, PCAP import has also a similar registration like the core and GUI. So more information about Ostinato, here are the URLs, the GitHub repo itself, the GitHub PR where the GRE code is implemented, and the protocol buffer, so the protocol builder documentation as well. The slides and video of this talk will appear shortly at this particular URL. Thank you, and we are now open for questions.